What's going on YouTube? So the Kia Sorento has been an important part of the Kia lineup for many years at this point. The latest generation has taken technology and style to a new level. And it's also known for value, which is something Kia is doubling down on for 2023, with even more standard features across the trim levels. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and get into this review and see what's new and if this is the SUV for you. All right, so let's start off this review with a tour of the exterior design. Now, this is one of my favorite elements of this new generation of Sorento. I think this is a fantastic looking midsize SUV. As a matter of fact, one of my favorites in the entire segment. Now, one of the things that Kia likes to do with this Sorento is give you a lot of customizability. Depending on which trim level you choose, you get different kinds of designs. So the LX is of course going to have a more basic look up here in the front. However, all of the other trim levels are going to have this really sleek looking design with a lot of gloss black finishes, including up here in your upper grille with the signature Kia Tiger nose. Now, I say all loosely because Kia also offers what is known as the X line, and that's available across 3 trim levels in the lineup. And when you choose that, that's going to give you a tougher look instead of what you see here. So this is the sleek appearance. The X line is going to make the lower area a little bit more squared off. It's going to switch out the gloss black plastic for a matte black plastic and kind of give you a faux skid plate appearance. Now, beyond the front end design with the grille, we also have the design of the headlights. These are very nice looking headlights as well. You'll be looking at LED low beams as standard equipment on all of the models. However, it will be a halogen high beam up until the EX trim level. When you choose the X line, EX, or above, that's where you'll get these full LED projector headlights, and then you also have your daytime running light and turn signal indicator right there. Down below, we have LED fog lamps, and these will be included on the EX trim level and above. And let's come over here and take a look at our wheel options. So you do have a ton of different options, varying from 17 to 20-inch alloy wheels. Depending on which trim level you choose, you also have different designs and different finishes. It's too many to mention individually, but here with the SX trim level, as you can see, we've got the really sleek looking gloss black alloy wheels, which I think look particularly very nice when you compare it with the gloss black finish around the wheel arches and this model's wolf gray paint color. Now, speaking of the wheel arches, I do want to mention if you choose one of the X-Line models, you actually get more ground clearance. So it's going to be 8.2 inches of ground clearance versus 6.9 here on the standard model. Now, as we rise up here to our mirrors, they're going to be finished in a gloss black on all but the base LX. And we've got 2 additional updates for 2023 I need to point out. First of all, blind spot monitoring becomes standard across all of the trim levels for 2023. And you also have power folding now included on the SX trim level. That was previously reserved for just the fully loaded SX Prestige. Now, here at the side, we can take a look at the length of the Sorento. So if you didn't know, this does fit in between the Sportage model as well as that Telluride model, which is your full-sized 3-row. However, it is still 189 inches long, so it's pretty good length, which, as you'll see in the interior section, does accommodate a pretty decently sized 3rd row. Now, as far as some of the styling elements, we do have a smoked chrome, which comes all around the window. At the top, you'll notice we have the kind of sleek roof rails. That's because we have one of the standard models. If you choose the X line, you'll get the raised roof rails. Let's carry on to the rear design. Just like with the front, it's a very clean and classy design. It does have some Telluride inspired elements as well. One of the things I do like about the rear design, we've got a nice spoiler up here, and you'll notice the wiper is actually hidden up underneath. So like I said, you have that clean look in the rear. And as far as your lighting, if you choose the X-Line EX or above, you will get the LED rear lighting. So as you can see, you've got the 2 different units here we have the amber color turn signal indicator. However, your reverse light is going to be down here in the lower part of the fascia, and that will be incandescent. Speaking of the lower fascia, as you can see, once again, sleek design because we've got the SX trim level. You would get a more rugged look if you chose one of the X-Line models. However, towing, there's no impact on which trim level you choose. It's going to be 3,500 pounds maximum on all models. Now, of course, no exterior section would be complete without talking about our safety systems and our warranty. So I'm going to start with the warranty. That, of course, is the signature Kia 5-year, 60,000 mile basic warranty and 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty, but it does not have complimentary maintenance. Now, as far as your safety systems, you do have 3 out of the 4 big ones as standard equipment. So that's going to be forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, and auto high beam headlights. However, if you want adaptive cruise control, you will have to choose at least the EX trim level, and that will also throw in highway drive assist. And then finally, the SX Prestige will come with rear auto braking. But that's it for the exterior design. So let's go ahead and hop into the interior where it's a lot warmer and a lot more luxurious. Now, as I walk up to the Sorento, you will notice that models equipped with the power folding mirrors will go ahead and fold them out upon approach. And then as far as getting inside the vehicle itself, all but the base model will come with a smart entry system. As you can see, this is the typical Kia key fob, and in addition to that, you also have remote start on the fob. Now, to get inside the vehicle, just press the black button and that will unlock the door. So there is the cabin as a whole, and let's go ahead and climb inside, get out of the cold, and take a look at all the details. Now, like always, the first thing I want to start off the interior section with is talking about our interior color and material selections. So the base LX trim level will come with cloth seating. Going to the S trim level through the SX trim level will get you leatherette seating, and then if you choose the top end SX Prestige, that's where you'll get real leather. Now today we are taking a look at the SX model, so this is going to be a leatherette seating. As you can see, nice looking seats still. You've got a lot of nice perforation through here. Overall, very comfortable as well, and this is a realistic feeling leatherette. As far as color options on this trim level, you have the choice between black or gray. However, if you do choose that top-end SX Prestige, that's going to unlock an exclusive color called Rust, which we have seen, and that looks absolutely fantastic. Now, turning over to the seat controls, almost every single trim level is going to come with this 10-way power adjusting seat with 2-way lumbar support. However, on the top-end SX Prestige, that's going to get you upgraded to a 14-way power adjusting seat, which also has 4-way lumbar and a power thigh extension. And then on that particular model, you will have memory seating, which is missing from the other trim levels. Now, as far as the overall design, that's going to be the same this year. However, there are a couple of details, which I will point out throughout the video. As far as the materials, though, thankfully they haven't changed much. This is a very nice cabin. We've got leather all through here, including on this arm grab, through the middle section with this nice stitching detail. It is going to be padded along the top. As far as the windows, they're going to be one-touch automatic for all 4. As we go to the upper dashboard, this is all a nice soft-touch plastic. Over here on this section, soft-touch plastic with a stitching detail. You do have a faux aluminum trim on most of the models. However, if you choose EX or SX Prestige, that's going to get you a faux wood instead. It's going to be soft touch down through there. And then all through this center area, this is going to be finished in a nice piano black trim. Now to start it up, on all but the base LX, push the button. Now, right from the get-go, you're already going to notice a 2023 interior change, and that's the fact that we have this 12.3-inch full digital gauge cluster now on the SX trim level. Previously, this was reserved, for just the very top-end SX Prestige. Now that has came down to the SX trim level, and it still has all the same cool things, such as changing the design when you change the drive modes. However, I will point out that the blind view camera system, that still remains SX Prestige exclusive. There is not an available head-up display on the Sorento, And then you do have rain sensing wipers, which have also moved down from SX Prestige to the SX and the SX Prestige. Now as we pull back to the steering wheel, we do have the latest Kia design. It is nicely leather wrapped on all but the LX trim level. And then you do have manual adjustment across the entire lineup, heating on your SX Prestige as standard equipment. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and take a look at interior storage next, because this is a family crossover, so we have to have plenty of storage, and indeed we do. So inside here you do have a small tray. This is removable, and then once you get that out of the way, you'll notice that this is a very wide and deep center console. We do have a nice felt lining down at the bottom as well. And we've got our thick stack of coupons. It's getting thicker by the day. Let's see if it will fit inside. Yes, it does. No problem whatsoever. We don't even have to fold it in half. Now up in front of that, we've got a little bit of storage here, a little bit of storage there, 2 cup holders. Then if you press on this lid, this is going to reveal a lot more storage. This side is going to be devoted to a wireless phone charging pad, and new for 2023, this is included on the S trim level and above. So that's all but the base trim level. And then you also have 3 USBs above that. Now coming back to the shifter, unlike this model's platform mate, the Hyundai Santa Fe, it does have a nice traditional shifter. Just going to pull back for drive, bump over here to the left if you want to shift manually. We do not have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. And then when we go into reverse, you will be greeted with this standard backup camera on most of the models. If you choose the S trim level or above, that's going to get you rear parking sensors. And if you choose the top end SX Prestige, that's where you'll get the 360-degree camera system. And then back behind the shifter, you do have the electronic parking brake on the EX trim level and above. Now moving up this handlebar, we do have our heated seats up here. These are going to be included on the S trim level and above, but if you want seat ventilation, you will have to upgrade to the fully loaded SX Prestige. And let's go ahead and look at the climate controls as well. So we do have a dual zone automatic climate control setup on all but the base LX trim level. As you can see, very easy to use. You've got these nice toggles through here. These buttons here are actually touch capacitive. However, they are extremely responsive, so it's not a problem at all. And then of course you've got that really cool vent design that continues this year, where it's basically 2 different parts. And then right above that we have our volume knob. So on the Sorento, you've got 2 different sound systems. LX through the SX is going to come with a 6-speaker sound system. Only the top end model will come with the 12-speaker Bose premium sound system. So since we're 1 rung below the top end model, let's go ahead and listen to the 6-speaker one. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised by the quality of this sound system. It really has a nice sound to it. It really sounds like there's more than 6 speakers in here, because there's plenty of bass and it fills up the cabin nicely. Alrighty, so the next destination for us is going to be our infotainment system. So just like with a ton of different items inside of this vehicle, the S trim level and above get the larger 10.25 inch display that you're looking at right now. If you do choose that base model, you will have an 8-inch display instead. Now, as far as the functionality of this system, of course it is a touch screen. If you have the larger display, you do have a built-in navigation system. And then all the models will come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities. However, keep in mind, if you have the larger display, which is the vast majority of the trim levels, it will be a wired connection. However, if you have the base model, that will be wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. Now as we rise above here, we do have an auto dimming mirror. This is going to be included on the EX trim level and above for 2023. And then up here at the very top, we do have already open our Panoramic sunroof. This is included on the X-Line, EX, and above as standard equipment. It is available as an option on many of your lower trim levels as well. So if you want to get that value-oriented S trim level, you can still add the panoramic sunroof. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the rear seats of this 2023 Kia Sorento. So like I said in the front, this is a family vehicle. It's very important that you have plenty of space, and I'm happy to say the Sorento does deliver. Actually, it is larger than many of its main rivals. So what we're looking at is 41.7 inches of legroom, 39.1 inches of headroom. So for someone who's 5'8" like myself, that is plenty. This is adjusted to my driving position. As you can see, I would say I probably have about a foot of space between the seat back and my knee. My feet can move up and down very easily because the seats are quite elevated off of the ground. Now let's also talk about the rear amenities. You have quite a selection of them. One of the things I do like is that you have standard rear vents on all models. You'll also notice we have USB ports, which are built into the seat backs on both sides. And then we do have dual map pockets for additional storage. Down below that, you're going to notice a third USB port back here and also a 12-volt outlet. Let's also talk about the seating. So as you can see, we do have the captain's chairs on this example. That's because they are standard on the EX trim level and above in the lineup. Now they do have the full range of adjustment, so you can slide this up and backwards quite a bit, and you can also recline this all the way back to here, so you can really get comfortable in the back seat of this Sorento. And then lastly, let's go ahead and take a look over here at our door trim. As you can see, it is basically exactly the same as the front, so you do have padded plastic along the top, lots of leather all through the center. You've got a nice cup holder up there in the front, as well as some bottle storage down there at the bottom. And if you did choose the fully loaded SX Prestige model, you would have an additional button for the heated rear seats. Now, one of the cool things about the Sorento is that it does have a standard third row. That's extremely rare in this class of vehicle, including its platform mate, the Santa Fe. The third row is not even available at all. So it's a nice benefit that you can have that in an emergency situation or whenever you need it. Getting into the third row, super simple. You just press one button, the whole thing slides and folds out of your way. So very kid friendly. And let's climb back here. All right. So this is the second row seat is slid all the way back. So this is the smallest amount of space you could possibly have. And even still, it's not bad at all. We're looking at 29.7 inches of legroom. As you can see, like I said, I'm a 5'8" adult. We've got a margin of about an inch or so. It's not terribly uncomfortable. And one of the things that's actually strange to me is that this is almost the same amount of rear legroom as the Toyota Highlander. So even though you do have a smaller vehicle on board. Now, in terms of amenities, you do have cup holders over here on the side. We also do have a USB port on both sides as well. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the cargo area. Now you will have a hands-free smart tailgate on the EX trim level and above. We don't actually have it turned on right now, but as you approach the Sorento, it will sense your presence, give you a few seconds, and it will automatically open up. All right, so let's go ahead and look inside of the cargo area. What you'll see is 12.6 cubic feet of space behind the third row, 38.5 cubic feet behind the second row, and a maximum capacity of 75.5 cubic feet. That is right in line with the main competition, all while still accommodating that third row. Obviously, it's not as spacious as a Telluride, but just like with the third row, it is a very, very usable amount of space. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like when we fold the third row. So as you can see, very easy to do. You're just going to pull this little strap, automatically folds the headrest, and then you just push the seat forward. Reveals a lot of space. And one of the things I really like about the Sorento is over here on the side, we have buttons to fold the second row as well. So I can press that, and there you go. You're very quickly up to your maximum 75.5 cubic feet of space, which is very impressive. We had one of these on loan, and we did haul a entire grill in here. So definitely a very usable amount of space. Now, as far as other things to look at, not a ton. You already saw the 12-volt outlet over there. We do have some additional underfloor storage as well. Now coming over here to the passenger seat, we do have a power adjusting seat, which is now going to be included on the EX trim level and up for 2023. And let's open up the glove box here. As you can see, it is nicely dampened. We've got a lot of instruction manuals and such inside, but we still have plenty of space for a big, thick stack of coupons to get you all of your special holiday savings. And as we rise up here, take a look at our visor. We do have a large mirror. You have a separated light up there. And the mirror itself does detach and extend. Taking off here in this 2023 Kia Sorento. Like we had mentioned, we do have the SX trim level today, so that means we've got the upgraded engine. What is the upgraded engine? It is a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, making 281 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. So it's really making serious power. That is actually about 50 pound-feet of torque more than you can get in a Kia Telluride, for example. And we're very familiar with this powertrain. Mason and I have a Sonata inline that actually has the same engine, and it really does produce a lot of power. Now, if you choose one of the lower end trim levels, you will have a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine instead. That's going to be making a little under 200 horsepower, so it's still adequate. We have sampled it before, but this is certainly the way you want to go if you have a craving for speed. Now, before I forget, I should introduce Josh. He is substituting in for Mason today. He's going to be helping me out with this test drive portion of the video, as well as being the videographer for the whole video today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here again.
Now let's talk about the other aspect of the powertrain. That's going to be your transmission. Now you heard me say that it does have the same transmission as the Hyundai Sonata inline, as well as the Kia K5 GT. And that does mean you have an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission paired with this engine versus the traditional 8-speed automatic paired with the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter engine. As far as the transmission is concerned, just like you expect from a dual clutch, it has very quick performance, snaps off shifts lightning fast. Pretty good performance around town as well. Some dual clutches can have a little bit of a jarring effect, but this one seems to be pretty smooth and refined since it is a wet dual clutch. So if you didn't know, up until this point of the video, we do have a front-wheel drive version today. So the struggle with this is that this actually has way more power and torque than what the front wheels can put to the ground. Thankfully, all-wheel drive is available on every single version of this Sorento, and it's actually becoming standard on the SX Prestige for 2023. But as you can see, the level of torque, you kind of have to roll onto the throttle. You can't really mat it if you have the front-wheel drive model, but we have sampled the all-wheel drive model, and that, of course, really puts the power down very smoothly. So I clicked over into the sport mode here. Now we're out on a country road, and this is not a sports car, obviously. If you want something really sporty, then you should probably go for that K5 GT instead. But this actually does have pretty good performance behind the wheel. When you go into sport mode, firms up the steering nicely, makes the throttle response more aggressive. You do have a decent amount of body roll, but it definitely feels more agile than, say, something like the Kia Telluride if you're, cross-shopping between Kia's 2 3-row SUVs. And one of the funny things is just how like performance oriented this transmission and engine combination is. Because as I come to a stop here, you see we have downshift rev matching going on. You know, engine sounds pretty good. Nice and powerful sound to it as well. Yeah, in the front-wheel drive version, you do have a little bit of torque steer if you're, turning as you are accelerating, of course. But like I said, most people are going to choose to get the all-wheel drive version. I'd certainly recommend that with this turbo engine. So I'll go back into comfort mode, and let's talk about, everyday livability, which is, of course, the most important part about a family crossover like this. So we're on a pretty smooth road right now. Ride quality is very nice. It really handles bumps nicely as we went on rougher sections at the front part of the video. Now we're on a smooth section of road. But as we go over top of this ridge here, it's a good demonstration of just how smooth it's going to handle everything. Like I said, the focus of this is for having that comfortable ride for the entire family. Yeah, feels really nice and smooth. I don't think anyone's going to have any complaints about that. The other thing no one will have any complaints about is your sound insulation. So I'll go ahead and let Josh take a sound level reading for us here at 55 miles an hour.
All right, so it looks like we're sitting at 58 decibels, which is, I'd say, a pretty impressive sound reading. I mean, sitting in here myself, it sounds really nice and quiet, and I think this would be a very comfortable vehicle to do a nice long road trip in, which I think is definitely one of the main uses of it.
Yeah, for sure, I can second that. Like I said, about a year ago, we did have a Sorento on loan for a full 7 days, and we did go on a road trip, and indeed, it is very comfortable. The seats are really comfortable. Like I said, the ride's comfortable. It's quiet in here, so really you can go a long distance and you're not going to feel fatigued or anything like that. And it's the time of the video where we talk about our slam dunk and airball. So for today's slam dunk, I'm going to say it's the space that the Sorento delivers. It really is a very spacious vehicle. Like we mentioned numerous times, it does have a third row when almost nothing in this class offers a third row, so that's really nice to have. It's a very family-focused vehicle that comes in, thousands less than your typical 3-row dedicated model. Now, as far as the airball is concerned, I'm going to say today it's going to be just the front-wheel drive paired with this engine. I kind of would like to maybe see standard all-wheel drive because you can't really enjoy this powertrain. It has so much torque, when you're front-wheel drive, you really have to be delicate as you're driving around. So, like I said earlier, I would definitely recommend buying the all-wheel drive version if you're going to choose the 2.5 turbo.
Alright, if you want to look at the fuel economy of this 2023 Kia Sorento, as we have said throughout the video, you do have the front-wheel drive as well as the available all-wheel drive. So if you get that standard front-wheel drive version, your fuel economy is going to be 24, 29, and 26 combined miles per gallon. And if you go for that all-wheel drive version, you're going to have 23, 25, 24 miles per gallon combined.
And as we mentioned during the front part of the review, of course, Kia is known for value. So let's go ahead and talk about the pricing.
Yeah, so there are a variety of trim levels for this Kia Sorento, so I'm going to kind of hit
a lot of trim levels.
Yes, so I'm going to hit the low and high points here. If you start out with the base model LX, you're going to start at $29,990. If you go with the SX that we are driving today, that will start at $38,790. And if you go up to the range-topping X-Line SX Prestige, that will cost you $43,590. And for this SX front-wheel drive that we are driving today, we do have a few extra options, including this wolf gray paint, as well as some other options. And that will get us to a total after destination of $40,740.
Which is quite the value. Like, we're pretty much, at the top end trim level. We've got a few more features you can add, but you know, this is a high-end Sorento, and it's coming in just a touch over $40,000. So for 2023, you do continue to see that value proposition. You know, like we were discussing, you have a lot of new features that Kia actually moved down to various different trim levels to improve that value proposition. And this continues just to be a really, really strong vehicle in this segment. So certainly if you're shopping for a mid-size family crossover, you owe it to yourself to come out and take a look at the Kia Sorento. Well guys, thanks so much for joining us for this in-depth review of the 2023 Kia Sorento SX. We hope you found this to be a useful video and learned a lot about the Sorento and how you could use it for yourself and your family. If you did, please do us a favor and go down below and click subscribe. That helps us get the latest automotive content to you as soon as possible. Also, follow us on TikTok and Instagram if you want to see some shorter form content, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.